because I think sometimes when we go into business, we think about what we have to do. But I think one of the first things that we should all do is focus on creating a community around that business, which will really help support the business.
Right. It's all about community. So, and with Ecobags, what we did is we created a business that was mission-based, which is like we wanted to change behavior on how people shop, to realize that, bringing your own bag to the store is really the first step of many, to realize you don't need to be wasteful. You don't need to create harm. And that reverberates, so people get to know your brand, but then they bring it into the store, but they bring it into the store they love. And then the person in the store says, where did you get that? And then all of a sudden you have a relationship there. And then you go and, it exponentially builds.
Right.
And it's not intangible. It's extremely tangible. It's not like trading stocks.
Right. And,
or hedge funds.
You did all of this, and eventually you were featured on Oprah.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal. How was it to be featured on Oprah?
Well, it was very cool. First of all, I wasn't featured on Oprah. My bags were. So, I mean, I have to, I was just sitting home. But I had never watched Oprah. I knew who she was because my neighbor loved her and my mother-in-law loved her. But I was always busy working. I had 2 kids and I worked full time, right? Because I'm building this business. So I'm like, Oprah Schmopra, who's that? I had no idea. But I knew that if these 2 people thought she was amazing, maybe she was really amazing. And then I realized that millions and millions of people watched her. It's like, oh. So I literally, it was January of the year that we were featured, which was in April for her first Earth Day show. I called up the only PR person I'd ever known, who I had sort of inadvertently sat next to at an event, which I didn't want to go to, because my sister, who was my marketing director, said, you need to go to events, you need to meet people. And I was like, I don't like talking to people. And so I sat next to this woman, Nancy Schenker, and so I called her up like a month later, and I said, oh, hi, yeah, I need some PR. I'd never used PR. I said, I want to be on Oprah. She was like, yeah, right. I said, no, really, this is a really good time for us. This is going to happen. I can feel it. And luckily, she had someone, a freelancer she was working with, who was part of her team, Anne-Marie Nieves, who's also become a very close friend, and who, by the way, I'm drinking Whispering Angel right now. That's our favorite drink, with a rosé. Anne-Marie was like, she knew someone who knew someone who knew someone to get intel on what Oprah, was doing in terms of future segments. And I think we got a call a week before Oprah's first Earth Day show, which was going to feature Semran Sethi, who I'd never heard of at that point. We got a call and said, you're on.
Oh, my gosh. A week before.
Like, okay. Yeah, a week before. So we had to immediately ship out a lot of bags so that, everybody in the audience gets their bag. And then she quite literally only pointed to what we were offering, because we were the reusable bag, but then she also had reusable water bottles. And this is, a while ago. What is 15 years ago now, right? 2007, so a while ago. And that I remember sitting in my living room watching the TV with my mother and my neighbor and going, oh, we went from, a few trickles of phone calls a day to like hundreds.
Wow.
Hundreds. And we luckily were already in 2007 on a cloud-based system. So we didn't crash. But if you remember back to then, that's when those commercials were running where they'd all sit around and go, oh my gosh, oh yay, oh yeah, oh. Everything would crash.
Yeah,
so we didn't. Yeah, remember those? So we didn't crash.
I do.
But we went from a 2-person team, me plus one, in my house, to a 6-person team in an office, which was luckily only a few doors down from my house, because there was a second floor of an apartment we took over, which we were released from because it was in a residential district. But anyway, overnight. And we had so many people calling and saying, I want to go green. And we were like, all right. And we were back ordered for like 3 months.
Wow. Just by her pointing to it briefly.
Just she pointed to it. And then she reran it the next year. Yeah.
Wow.
So talk about a spike.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And that was even more than the year prior, I think it was, if I have my dates right. We were on QVC, which used to just be, TV sales. And I was on for some special show, and we were at the Alamo in San Antonio, and it was like 105 degrees, and my makeup was dripping off my face, and we sold out in like 4 minutes or something.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a time when things are ready to pop, and then it gets all rolled back, It rolls forward and it rolls back and it rolls forward and it rolls back. And now, where are we? We're in the middle of a pandemic where really large industry is saying don't bring your own bags, but the reusable bag and the environmentalists are saying, wait a minute, we've been fighting this for a really long time. And the fact is using, fossil fuels to create an item that you use once and throw out is not economically or environmentally viable.
No.
It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So at least now there's pushback. Yeah.
There's so much goodness. I have to get you back on the show because there's so much I want to talk to you about, B Corporation and all that. But I know we have limited time. But you are a strong believer in entrepreneurs knowing their numbers. For someone who's out there is like, I'm not a math person. I'm very creative. I leave that to my accountant. What is your advice to those people?
Get to know your numbers. I was not a math person at all, ever. I have to tell you, I got through math in high school because my friend Debbie Spector understood math. I spent most of my time with that thing that I grew in my backyard. I couldn't even add. I mean, I was terrible. But math is your friend when you're in business. You have to know your margins, and you have to know your percentage margins, and you have to let your math guide you, because numbers don't lie.
They don't.
And if you really feel strongly about your purpose and your mission, you want to have a platform to stand on, and your platform is supported by your profit and loss and your cash flow. Cash flow is so important. That's what will sink you. Not your P&L, but your cash flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you have to know your numbers. Yeah,
business is built by the cash flow, not the profit and loss statement.
Yeah. But you need to know your P&L too, and you need to know your margins so you can manage your cash flow, and you have to have access to cash. And you can go under just as easily growing as you can sinking.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your numbers, and sometimes it's really hard. Like right now, I mean, that's a whole segment to talk about. Right now, in terms of pulling in as tight as you can to get through whatever this is, to see if you can come out the other side when, business has dropped off, 85%?
Yeah.
And that's just not me. That's like, I was just listening to Marketplace on NPR. I think it's 65 to 95% or something, 85%.
Yeah. Because
people aren't spending money, so the economy is shifting. How do you navigate that when you have a full team of people that you're responsible for?
Mm-hmm.
And commitments and inventory and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're right.
Which is why I'm drinking Whispering Angel. No. Actually, just a little, because I made dinner, but my husband's actually playing a concert tonight, and we're donating the money to the Gulata House, which is a local organization here in the Hudson Valley, which is procuring and delivering meals to people who don't have access. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The Hudson Valley is a beautiful area. I'm sure, you really enjoy living there.
Totally. Your area code is 413. So are you?
Yes. No. We have a restaurant in Massachusetts in Springfield.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So of course you know Hartford. Yeah.
Yeah. So rapid fire questions. So before we go into rapid fire questions, I just want the listeners to be able to engage with you. How can people learn more about Ecobags and your book, The Magic of Tiny Businesses?
Well, for The Magic of Tiny Business, you just have to Google it, and it will come up on Amazon. It will come up on Shop Locally, all the bookstores. It's available audio, paperback, etc. And please, if you read it and you want to leave comments, do that, because that's, of course, how it rises in the world of Amazon. You can also find out more about me at Sharon Rowe, ROWE.com. But if you forget all of that, you can always go to Ecobags, ECObags.com. Everything that we do is there. And we're on Instagram, Ecobags_US. And we post there daily. Everything we post on Instagram, I think, auto-post to Facebook. We're not really on Twitter, but we're pretty findable if you just do ECOBAGS.com. And so we're the original Ecobags.
Perfect.
That's how you can find me. And if anybody has questions for me, please, I actually do respond. I don't get on Twitter that much, so if I don't respond right away, it's because I'm not paying attention to Twitter. I save that for just my, my political stuff.
Right.
There's a lot these days. And it's not always that friendly, so you may not want to find me there. But yeah, no, I think it's really important for people to ask questions, and I think it's really important to understand too that the landscape still out there for women in business and for mission-based businesses is it's getting friendlier, but we're still paving the way, and people more than less in the worlds that I'm in move forward together. Even if they're competing, they move together and help each other out. So it's more like a community boost as opposed to you have to go it alone.
Right.
There's a lot of resources out there now.
That's awesome. It is. And with the internet now and social media, it makes it so much easier, the world so much easier to really connect with people who you would like to get to know and form a community with.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot to say, I have an Instagram too, Sharon Rowe, ROWE_.
Perfect.
So, come to me. I paint what I'm cooking, and I post what I'm cooking and what I'm painting. So, you have to endure that.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's nice. Oh, nice. Okay. So everybody.
I made ravioli the other night. I was so excited.
And did you paint it too? What do you paint?
No, I paint. I've taken up a painting practice. I just really love it. There's nothing better than a blank canvas to scare the crap out of me. So it's like, if I'm not acting, I might as well throw colors on a canvas.
What's your favorite medium? Is it acrylic?
I like oils.
Oils.
Okay. Yeah, and I like oil crayon. Do you paint?
I don't, but I used to paint with my kids a lot when they're younger. But I love watercolor and pastels, all pastels.
Yeah, so oil crayons are like pastels, which you can sort of draw with them, and then you can go over them with a brush, and they bleed. And it's really nice.
Right.
Sometimes it's really just a meditation. But I've been doing a lot of painting.
It's just amazing when you're creative. You could go through so many different types of creativity. And you're using the same type of muscles. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Okay,
it's really about letting it go, following where that impulse goes. And it's okay if it, look, the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and you paint over it.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just have extra canvas lying around that you can hang up on your wall.
Yeah, whatever. Right, exactly.
Well, it's so nice having you on the show. I just want our listeners to know a little bit more about you. We're going into our rapid fire question segment. And this is when, people just know little nuances about Sharon. So the first question is tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. Favorite pastime? You just said that you like to paint. So are there any other?
Yeah, swimming. But I can't swim now. Everything's closed. So, but swimming.
Right. Favorite business book?
How about this? My book, because I was so bored with all the other business books, which is why I wrote a book and I put cartoons in it. My book has cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Because business cannot just be boring. And some of the other and also a lot of the business books were written by men.
That is
true. They're not, and it's like, no, I just kept thinking, oh God, no, that's not what I want to do. That's not how I want to be. So I'll just say my book. I know it sounds kind of obnoxious, but that's what it is.
No, not at all. Now I'm going to have to get the print version because I want to see the cartoons. Did you draw the cartoons yourself?
No, my son did. He's done a bunch of cartoons for the New Yorker, and he's an illustrator and cartoonist, and I think he did a great job.
You guys are like a family of excellence. Cartoons for the New Yorker. You're featured in these great publications. Okay.
Yeah. But I still want to get an